Washing your clothes in the traditional way can do a lot of harm to them, especially if you don't know exactly what you're doing, if you're not following the right instructions. Certain types of clothes can be washed. They should be washed in a certain temperature or using a certain detergent. Others can't be washed with that temperature. Some can be tumble dried. Others shouldn't be dried at all. They should be hang dried. Some you only can dry clean or else you'll completely ruin them. There's so much that goes into washing your clothes correctly. It can get very confusing, which is why I actually think having a more minimal wardrobe makes a lot of sense. It's less clothes to be thinking about how you can wash them, and if you think smartly about it, you can wash all your clothes together. But today, I want to discuss a few different options that you have to maintain your clothes, maintain the appearance, the smell, whatever it may be, and not having to traditionally wash them with the washing machine and a dryer as often to hopefully extend the lifespan of them. So the first and most basic is just hand washing, right? This is gonna take a little bit of time to do, of course, a little bit more time to set up, but ultimately it can be less harsh on your clothes than tossing them in a washing machine. You're pretty much filling up some type of basin, whether it be your bathtub, your sink, whatever, with some water, a little bit of detergent, dipping your clothes in there and washing them out just by hand the old school way. You're then gonna basically rinse them out, wring them out, and then hang dry them. Now I've done this in the past. It's mostly been with my denim pieces where I'm trying to keep some of that color in them. That's where I've done this, and I actually made a video about that, the Uniqlo denim that I own, hand washing them in the bathtub. Again, a little bit time consuming, but for those more delicate pieces, definitely a smart decision. Now next is steaming and ironing. This is more so for appearance, right? To keep your clothes looking fresh. You can also steam spots out of your clothes a little bit depending on what the spot is. Of course, not everything is gonna come out, but this can be a good way to freshen things up after a few wears and keep you from having to throw it in the washer sooner rather than later. It's also gonna remove wrinkles and it's gonna kill some bacteria in your clothes because bacteria doesn't react well to steam and to high heat. So a couple advantages that you have with this method. Now, of course, once your clothes get very dingy or you start to really smell, you should probably just go ahead and take them, put them in the washing machine, get it over with. Next is dry cleaning. Dry cleaning is a form of cleaning clothes. You can't clean everything with dry cleaning, but this is for more higher end items that are made of wool, cotton, your nice dress shirts, things like that can be dry cleaned. And this is pretty well known as a less harsh way to clean your clothes because you're not involving any water in the process. It's actually just solution based. Now, I'd suggest going to a professional dry cleaner, having it done the right way by them, people that are professionals, they're in the business, but there are some home dry cleaning kits available out there on the market. I've never used them. I'd rather just take it to a dry cleaner, let them dry clean it, and then go pick it up. It's a lot easier. Next, this is gonna sound weird, putting your clothes in the freezer. Now, this is pretty popular in the raw denim space, but the freezer is actually gonna kill a lot of bacteria because, again, bacteria doesn't like high heat or very low temperatures, high cold. I don't know how you'd explain that, but by putting your garments, whatever it may be, like I said, I've only done this with denim, but you can essentially do it with anything. Putting them in the freezer for 24 to 48 hours, gonna kill a lot of bacteria. I've definitely noticed that smells that were there are not really there anymore. I wouldn't suggest putting it on like open steaks or anything like that, obviously. Make sure you're not setting it on top of food, but this will take some of that funk out of your clothes if they're starting to smell a little bit and you don't wanna wash them yet. Real quick, before we get to the next one, if you aren't subscribed to the channel, scroll down a little bit, click that subscribe button, click the like, be very much appreciated. Let's get back to it. Now next this is more for freshening up cosmetically, and that is using a clothing brush. You can also use a lint roller as well. They sort of function in a similar way. I have both. So I have a clothing brush. There's actually just a horsehair brush, which you can use as a clothing brush as well. This should be used on more delicate items like wool overcoats, wool suits, things like that. If they're hanging up in your closet for a while, they got some dust on them, you can just brush it off and freshen things up a little bit. Now, if it's like deeper things like hairs and things like that, little lint, then you should probably use a lint roller on that to get those deeper pieces of whatever it may be off of your clothes. Good thing about a horsehair brush is I also use this for my leather and suede shoes. If you polish your shoes, you can buff them up with this. Suede, it'll rub some of that suede out, give some of that texture back. It's a multifunctional tool. This is a heirloom one. Made by Empire, made in Israel. I got this from my grandfather, so it kind of passed down. They have a lot of cheaper options on Amazon, or you can go more heirloom quality and get yourself a really nice investment piece. to hold for the long run. Now, next is steaming and spot cleaning. So a little bit of a combination. So you can spot clean pretty much anything if you have detergent. I do this on blankets sometimes. If something happens, you spill something on rugs, you can spot clean essentially anything. I've done this on denim and pants. I've done this on suits even. This is a really effective method too if you don't want to throw everything in the washer because there's only one little spot where maybe you spilled spaghetti sauce, coffee, whatever it may be. You got to quick enough to get most of it out, but you just need to dab it up, freshen up that one spot. This is a great method to use. Now, I've never paired it up with steaming, but by doing that, you're releasing the stain even more. So you can spot clean with detergent. I have a Tide to-go stick that I take everywhere with me just in case something happens, God forbid. And if you pair this up with steaming after you spot clean with detergent, you're gonna have a better chance of lifting that stain out of the fabric. This method is very ideal for delicate fabrics, maybe things like linen, satin, very delicate wool fabrics, things like that, where you can't necessarily throw them in the washer, or you don't necessarily want to throw them in the washer, maybe like your nice dress shirts or things like that. You can just get a quick spot clean if you got spots on there, steam them out, hang them out to air dry, and you're good to go. Now, the last and possibly the most important one, because surprisingly enough, it doesn't have anything to do with your clothes, is cleaning your body. Obviously, your clothes are touching your body all day, right? And so if you don't clean yourself with a good quality soap, maybe moisturizer, whatever you want to do, that dirt and grime that's on your skin is going to get baked into your clothes and cause them to funk up a little bit quicker, to get stains. If you have dirt on your skin, it might transfer to your shirt if you're wearing a white shirt or something like that. So you should be cleaning your body, especially if you work out, especially if you're active. You should be keeping up with your personal hygiene, which is also going to help keep your clothes fresher for a longer time. I can go and buy a new black linen shirt from Uniqlo. I can go and buy a new pair of jeans, but I can't go and buy new skin. You want to take care of this even more than you take care of your most expensive piece of clothing that you own, because it's not as replaceable. Now, obviously, there are some factors. You might be a person that sweats more. I personally don't sweat that much, even when I'm working out, unless it's very hot out. It also could differ between the seasons. So obviously, you're sweating and you're not as hot as much in winter as maybe you are in the summer. So you should wash your clothes more in the summer than you do in the winter. There's factors that can play into it, but once you start paying more attention to these types of factors, you'll get a little bit more comfortable with when you know something actually needs to be washed in the washing machine, or when you can just do a little quick spot clean, when you can just toss it in the freezer, when it just needs an iron or a steam, when you need to just use a lint brush to get the lint off. All these different things you become more in tune with as you pay more attention to them. And that's really what this channel is about at the end of the day, is being conscious about your decisions that you make in regards to the clothing that you own. Anyways, those are the tips that I have for y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel. It'd be very helpful. Drop a comment. Did I miss any tips that you use? Do any of these tips not sound right? You would never use these. I'm curious to know what your thoughts are. Leave a comment down below. That's all I got for y'all today. I'll see y'all again soon. Peace.